Peace of mind? Peace of mind is why my son is drinking garri from an engine oil cup. Fix this house, or I will fix this marriage myself.
Jesus, take control. Faye, is this my son's kitchen? Or did a bomb go off inside a soup pot? Mama, good afternoon, oh. Everything is under control. Under control? This plate has been in this sink since the last general election, and it is now contesting for a seat of its own. Mama, resting is also part of life. Not everybody is built for stress. Some of us are built for peace of mind. Peace of mind? Peace of mind is why my son is drinking garri from a cup that used to hold engine oil. At least the engine oil finished a long time ago, so technically it is empty. My son married a wife, not a squatter who refuses to pay rent in hygiene. Fix this house, or I will fix this marriage myself. And trust me, you will not enjoy my own version of fixing. Bisi, when last did water touch this your body? Tunde. Not this one again this morning. I will bathe eventually. Eventually when? You said the same eventually 3 days ago. And that eventually has not expired. It still has time on it. Tunde, let me rest. My spirit needs peace, not soap. A wife who is allergic to water. A husband who has become a comedy skit in his own office. A mother who has officially run out of prayer points for this matter. What Tunde does next will shock everybody, Bisi included. If you like funny, dramatic, real Niger marriage wahala, subscribe now, because trust me, this one is just warming up. Rewind 8 months. None of this had happened yet. Tunde and Bisi were just two young people trying to build a home, and Bisi was already, without knowing it, building herself a local reputation for all the wrong reasons. She was not an ugly woman at all, let us establish that first. Back in Ibadan, University Bisi was a whole event. Fine girl, matching everything. A laugh that could clear a lecture hall. But somewhere between graduation and becoming somebody's wife, a switch in her simply flipped off, like Nipah, except Nipah at least comes back sometimes. Tunde did not see it coming, because Tunde was the type of man who ironed his trousers at night and greeted the gateman by full name, including the gateman's children's names. He believed in patience, prayer, and enduring wahala quietly. God was about to test all three. 10 days. That is how long the marriage lasted before the first sign showed up. Tunde reached for his wife one morning, expecting vanilla body spray, and instead received a smell that made his own nose file a formal complaint. He turned to check if something had died in the room. It was just Bisi. Bisi, good morning, he said gently, shaking her. She groaned, rolled over, requested 4 more centuries of sleep, and returned to snoring with the confidence of a diesel generator on full tank. Tunde genuinely began to suspect she had swallowed one during the honeymoon. He let it slide, because new husbands let everything slide. She is adjusting, he told himself. Famous last words. Weeks passed. Bisi's relationship with water became strictly occasional. Weddings, church on first Sunday, or the small chance of running into her old university crush at the market. Ordinary days. Water simply did not feature in the schedule at all. Bisi, have you bathed today? He asked one evening, as gently as a man can ask a landmine question. She looked at him like he had insulted her late grandmother. Tunde, why this early? I am resting. It has been 4 days, baby. She sat up like a professor about to deliver a keynote. Tunde, listen carefully. If you bathe every single day, you will strip your own glow. Everybody wants results. Nobody wants the science. That is why those Instagram babes fade by 35. I am protecting my glow. You should be thanking me. Tunde blinked. He had never heard someone be so confidently, dangerously wrong. Okay, Bisi. he said, and left, already planning to buy air freshener in bulk, wholesale, like a market woman restocking for Christmas. That sentence, "If you bathe every day, you will strip your glow," became her personal national anthem. By month 3, a small, tired, defeated part of Tunde's brain had almost started agreeing with her, purely from exhaustion. Now the wrapper matter. We cannot skip this. Bisi believed, with the conviction of a pastor, in seasoning her wrappers, worn continuously for 10 days minimum before qualifying for a wash. Tunde discovered this one Saturday, pulling a wrapper from the basket that had, by every visible sign, developed opinions of its own. "Bisi, what is this?" he shouted, holding it at the exact distance a man holds a snake. "That is my favorite wrapper," she said, not even looking up from her phone. "Do not scrub it hard. You will wash away the luck inside." Tunde stood there holding a garment with more personality than some of his relatives, wondering what he did in a past life. There was also the bedsheet rule, changed only once it began, in her words, telling its own story. There was the shaving stick that migrated into a bowl of coconut cream because Bisi needed somewhere to rest her rollers, and, in her words, your shaving stick happened to be there. There was the sniff and decide laundry system, in which clothes were only washed if they failed a smell test conducted from a very respectful, very cautious distance. Tunde watched her sniff a blouse once, pause like a judge on a talent show, shrug, and wear it to his cousin's engagement. He said nothing the whole car ride. He simply prayed for the photographer's sake. But nothing prepared him for the flask. Once in a while, Bisi performed what she called wifely duty, usually under pressure, or when Mama Tunde was visiting and appearances needed managing. One such duty was packing his office lunch. A reasonable woman uses a clean flask. Bisi used the one behind the cooker that had not seen daylight in months and had, by this point, developed its own local government area. She packed hot beans and plantain straight inside, sealed it, and presented it like a chef unveiling a signature dish. "I made your lunch today, baby," she beamed. "You will eat like a chief." He kissed her forehead and left for work, feeling, for once, like the marriage was finally improving. It was not improving. At 1 o'clock, in front of the entire staff canteen, including his friend Darpo, who has the memory of an elephant and the mouth of a town crier with a microphone, Tunde opened that flask. The smell arrived a full 3 seconds before the visual, like a villain's theme music. 2 people at the next table stood and relocated without finishing their sentences. Inside, where beans and plantain used to live, sat something grey and furry, and perched delicately on the rim, like it was posing for Instagram, was one single insect wing. Tunde screamed. Not a manly cough scream, a full soprano, call my pastor scream that made the whole canteen turn. His chair went down with him still half attached to it. Darpo could not breathe from laughing. Phone already out, filming, because people need to see this. A colleague from accounts fanned herself and declared, "This one is not ordinary. This one is spiritual." Someone else peered in and asked if this was lunch or a curse. "Bro, your wife is trying to finish you gently, gently," Darpo said, still filming, still laughing, still very much not helping. By evening, Tunde had been rebranded Flask Man by no fewer than 3 departments, and Darpo had already started doing reenactments during lunch breaks, complete with sound effects. He got home to find Bisi on the couch, hair having clearly lost a fight with her pillow, watching TV with the serenity of a woman with 0 responsibilities on this earth. Bisi, the flask. Which flask? The one you packed my food in. She thought hard, genuinely searching. Ah, the one behind the cooker. I don't really remember when I last washed it, but I assumed the heat from the beans would kill whatever was in there. Silence. A long, expensive silence. There was an insect wing in it, Bisi. Ah, just the wing? At least the whole body did not enter, she said, hunting for a silver lining and finding one only she could see. Tunde did not argue. He walked past her, shut the bedroom door, and lay face down on the bed, like a man requesting a transfer out of his own life. If you are laughing already, imagine living it. This man deserved a national honor. But hold on, because we have not even reached Mama Tunde's kitchen inspection, and that scene alone deserves its own soundtrack. Mama Tunde did not do soft words. She raised Tunde alone after his father passed when he was 11, sold fabric at Balogun Market with her bare hands, and had zero tolerance left for foolishness, wearing the title of wife. Tunde had been postponing her visits for months. Mama, next week. Mama, the house is being painted. But a mother's radar cannot be delayed forever, and she showed up the very afternoon you already watched unfold. After Mama left, Tunde came home to find Bisi still standing exactly where his mother left her, arms folded, staring at the kitchen like she was seeing the crime scene for the first time. He tried everything. Soft conversations over Zobo, gifts, sponges, sweet soap, a vanity set engraved with her name, hoping the right props might inspire a personality transplant. She admired the gifts for 2 days before they joined the graveyard of unused items in the bathroom. He even tried an ultimatum, the closest he ever came to raising his voice. Bisi, I need something to change. I cannot keep explaining this house to my mother. For 1 second, her face softened, like she might actually agree. Then she said, Tunde, you are stressing yourself for nothing. Resting is important too. Some of us are built for peace of mind. And the moment closed like a shop at 6 p.m. Her friend Faye had heard about all of this for a while, mostly from Bisi's own retelling, delivered proudly like a highlight reel. One visit, babe, she seriously debated leaving her slippers outside for their own protection, feet on the couch. Bisi, but even Faye this thing eventually has moved cracked past joke stage, she said carefully. Even me, your own personal hype woman, I am struggling to breathe in here. Please do not join Mama Tunde's camp, Bisi said, already reaching for the remote. Faye tried one more rescue mission, arriving with scented candles, a sponge, and a glitter pen notebook titled My Reset Season. We are not calling this cleaning, Faye announced, laying it all out like a business pitch. We are calling this a glow-up. Light a candle, write your intentions, and somewhere in that main character energy, casually take a bath too. Bisi actually considered it. This is kind of cute, not going to lie. The reset season lasted 3 days. By day 4, the candle had melted sideways into the window fan, the notebook had vanished under laundry, and the sponge had achieved permanent residency at the bottom of the shower, developing what could only be described as texture. Faye took one look and sighed. I really tried, Bisi. I really did. Back at the bank, Flask Man refused to retire. Dapo brought it up in meetings just to watch Tunde's ears go red. Our people want to know if the flask needs deliverance before the next audit, he announced once, completely straight-faced, while the whole department fought not to laugh. Tunde wore the permanent expression of a man who had accepted his role as free entertainment in his own marriage. But quietly, something in him was shifting. He loved Bisi, genuinely. But love, he was learning, cannot survive on patience and air freshener alone. The final straw landed on an ordinary Wednesday. Tunde came home early to cook dinner as a peace offering. He found Bisi asleep at 4 p.m., snoring at full generator capacity. He tried waking her gently. Bisi, it is 4 in the afternoon. Sleep does not check the time, she mumbled, and rolled away. He let her sleep and went to shower. Reaching for his towel, the one he kept separate, specifically off limits, clearly labelled in his own mind as sacred, he discovered it had been repurposed for something he refuses to describe on camera. He simply says it involved days of unwashed evidence of everything. He stood there holding it in the exact same silence he once reserved for the flask. Something in him settled, not rage, something quieter, final. He did not shout. He set the towel down, got dressed, and sat in the parlour thinking for a long time. The next morning, Bisi woke at 11 as usual to find Tunde already dressed, drinking tea, wearing a calm she had never seen on him before. "Good morning," she said, stretching. "Good morning, Bisi. Sit down. We need to talk." She sat, expecting another lecture she could nod through and forget by evening. "I have been thinking," he said, "about us, about this house, and I have made a decision." "Okay," she said. "What decision?" "Starting today, I am hiring house help." Bisi blinked. Of all the things she braced for, this was not one of them. House help for what? "You want me supervising somebody now? That is even more work for me." "No, Bisi. Let me finish." "I already hired her. Her name is Grace. She starts this afternoon. Cooking, cleaning, laundry, everything. Full salary. From my account. And she will be reporting one more thing to me. Something I have not told you yet." Bisi sat up properly now, all traces of sleep gone. "Reporting what, Tunde? What is Grace reporting to you?" "Your progress," he said simply. "Grace is not replacing you. She is here to teach you. Cooking, cleaning, basic home management, all of it, starting from scratch, like a proper training, for 3 months. And every week she gives me an honest report of how you are doing." Bisi opened her mouth to protest, then closed it, because for the first time since the wedding, Tunde's face was not asking for her forgiveness or her patience. It was simply informing her of a decision already made. "I am not doing this to punish you," he continued. "I am doing it because I have realized something these past 8 months. I kept excusing you because I loved you, and I told myself love meant tolerating anything. But love was never supposed to mean I suffer quietly while you refuse to grow. That is not love, Bisi. That is exhaustion wearing a wedding ring." For the first time, Bisi had no clever line ready. No talk about glow, no talk about luck in wrapper fibers, no talk about spirits needing peace instead of soap. She simply sat there, and something about her husband's calm hit harder than any of his shouting ever could have. 3 months later, the house did not smell like a science experiment anymore. Mama Tunde visited unannounced one Saturday, braced as always for disaster, and instead found a spotless kitchen, a made bed, and a daughter-in-law who actually hugged her at the door without her flinching first. Mama Tunde said nothing for a full minute. Then she simply nodded slowly, the way elders do when they are too proud to say the actual words out loud. At the bank, Flask Man finally retired. Dapo, of all people, was the one who told the story differently now. "My guy's wife, Don Change O," he announced to the department one afternoon, genuinely impressed. "That kitchen's Seth, in a different house." And Bisi, for her part, never fully lost her sense of humour about it. She still says, once in a while, half joking, half testing, that too much bathing fades the skin. But now she says it while walking out of the bathroom, freshly washed, laughing at her own old excuse, because even she knows a joke when she hears one now. Here is the truth this story is really about. Comfort is not the same thing as care. Resting is not the same thing as refusing to grow. And love that only tolerates, without ever asking for better, is not protecting a marriage. It is quietly starving it. Tunde did not fix his marriage by shouting. He fixed it by finally valuing himself enough to stop accepting less than he deserved, and by choosing structure over resentment. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for someone you love is to stop excusing them and start expecting more. If this story taught you something today, drop a single word in the comments, growth, and let us know you got the lesson. Follow this page for the next story.